The return of the Pac-Man, Manny Pacquiao, challenging the reigning defending WBC welterweight champion Mario Barrios. The aforementioned Barrios kind enough to join us right here now from Las Vegas. There he is. Hello, Mario. How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing great, and it's great to have you on, especially ahead of this massive fight. Could I ask, when did you first hear that this was a possibility? I remember speaking to you at AT&T Stadium on that Netflix card, same card, of course, that Jake Paul fought Mike Tyson. You had a big opportunity there, fought to a draw against Abel Ramos. Was this on your radar even then? Did you know, hey, if I get by this, if I retain, Pacquiao's next?
Yeah, it was actually after that fight with Ramos. I got word that Pacquiao was interested in coming out of retirement, to fight me. So yeah, it was actually after that same night.
Do you think that he's coming out of retirement because he wants to fight you specifically, or do you think he wants your belt?
I think he wants my belt, but yeah, I think he's after the green strap, especially coming out of retirement.
Yeah. What was your reaction initially when you heard about this? Did you think like, nah, there's no way, or like were you skeptical? Were you excited? Were you not interested? What were you feeling when you heard about this in the early stages?
I was kind of skeptical, and then I didn't really think that it was something that was going to unfold. But the way everything has gone this year, here we are, and yeah, initially, I was like very surprised, but I did say, if that was something he wanted to do, it would still be an honor. And yeah, now we're here. Now it's fight week, and so it's pretty crazy the way things have like unfolded.
Yes, you're fighting a living legend. There were some purists who were upset when he got ranked and then got the title shot. Do you understand where they're coming from?
Yeah, I can understand it, but I think just the fighter, everything that like Manny has given to the sport of boxing. I think he's one of those like legendary type of fighters. He can do that. But yeah, I can see it and I can understand the criticism behind it.
I will be honest with you. You're 16 years younger than him. You're an incredible fighter in your prime. There is a part of me that's just a little bit worried from like a health standpoint, right? Because of the age gap. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Usually, you're not fighting someone who's 16 years older than you and you're 30 and he's 46. It's not a very common thing. I mean, it did happen in that Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight. The gap was even bigger. But you're not Jake Paul. You're a lot further along in your career and a lot more seasoned and a champion in the WBC. So do you understand some of that concern from some of the audience?
No, yeah, for sure. I think even when I first heard about the fight, that was the reason why there was so much. The reason why I had so much like skepticism over it, because I didn't believe that. One, that Manny was going to come out of retirement to fight again, and two, I didn't think that he was going to come out and try to fight me, for the title. But allegedly, he's looking better than ever. He's rested. So I still had to go in there on fight night and take care of business.
Is this considered, at least in your opinion, a dream match for you, or was there such a gap in age between the two of you that you didn't even dream of something like this because it was so far-fetched it didn't even seem at all possible?
I think it was one of those things I never really saw possible, or at least like it wasn't something that I pictured that would be happening. More like a fantasy type of matchup, right? Like I was explaining to somebody, like when you're on when you're playing fight night and you're matching up, fighters from like different eras.
Yeah. That's what it really does feel like. It's kind of even surreal that we're here talking about a Manny Pacquiao title fight in the year 2025. As you were preparing for him, his last fight was 4 years ago. And like I said, it wasn't like he was on a 6-fight losing streak. But I'm just wondering, as you're preparing for him, are you watching tape a vintage Manny of Manny from the last few years? How are you game planning for him based on what? Because 4 years at his age is significant as well.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think 4 years for a fighter in their prime is is a lot, but let alone for somebody at 46. And but yeah, like I said, they're saying he's faster and he's rested. So we have been preparing, as if we're fighting, a not necessarily a prime Pacquiao, but a Pacquiao with within these last like 10 years. So we have been looking at a lot of those type of fights, and that's kind of I started to go in there and expect Manny to be on his P's and Q's, and that's exactly what we have been preparing for.
Did you watch any of his exhibition bouts? He had a couple of those since his last fight. Is there anything you could take away from that, or do you feel like that's not a real version of him?
I feel like it's not really a real version of him, but there's still how would I say, there's still habits that he made in those little exhibitions that we're able to pick up on. Like, okay, like he has a habit of doing this, especially when he fought. I think I don't know if it was Korean or Japanese, or he fought another tall opponent. That had reach and size over him. So I mean, those were just like little things that we were able to take away, but we weren't really looking too hard at those performances from those exhibitions.
He's had throughout the course of his career a pretty good record against Mexican fighters, Eric Morales, Barrera, Marquez, etc. Is that a point of pride for you to get one for La Raza, to get one for the country?
I think deep, like deep inside of me, there definitely is. I was always, a proud Mexican kid, a proud brown kid, and so when people had, bring this like fight up to me, there are a lot of people, assume that I was like a big Pacquiao fan, and I mean, I'm not saying I wasn't, right. I just know anytime Manny fought against a Mexican fighter, I was going against Manny just because like I was that kid growing up. If he was fighting a Mexican fighter, I was going, for the Mexican fighter. But I mean, there's also been plenty of fights, where I have rooted for Pacquiao. But yeah, there's definitely that, like deep inside, I had talked about it on the special that Amazon did during the lead up, because they called him the Mexicutioner for a while, and no, I'm a very proud Mexican kid, with indigenous roots, and so I know for even that fact alone, there's a lot of people that are rooting for me to win, but yeah.
Yesterday in our studio, we had Conor Benn, and he was talking about that he might come to the fight, that he spoke to Mauricio Suleiman, and he feels like he could get the winner, or he might go in the direction of this rematch against Chris Eubank Jr. If all goes according to plan for you, what do you think about a fight against Conor Benn? Do you think that he is deserving of a title fight?
Yeah, I think he is. I'd always said, a fight with Conor Benn, it would be, I think it would be a very exciting fight. And I had heard like rumors that because of his ranking that it would even become like a mandatory or something. But no, I mean, I would definitely entertain, a fight with Ben. I think it would be, a big fight for boxing, and that's exactly what I'm looking, to continue to bring to the sport. So that's kind of why this fight is still so important, for me,
Yeah.
for my career. because it's going to continue to just make those big fights.
Speaking of big fights, what about Brian Norman, the WBO champion, going up against Devin Haney in November 22nd? That was announced last week. Could I ask who you like in that fight?
I like both, man. Brian, he had a sensational title defense, with his knockout over there in I believe Japan.
Yeah.
And but yeah, Haney, I feel like Haney is the one out of both of those fighters, who has more to prove. Just because I feel like for Norman, it's just another title defense, but I think Haney is trying to prove his position in this division. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see, because I think Norman definitely, he has skills and he definitely has the power behind him. And but yeah, Haney is a tremendous boxer. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. And even the winner between that one will be someone that I have my eyes on.
What do you think of Haney's last fight, his last performance in Times Square?
He got the win.
Yeah.
That's all I can really say about that.
Yeah. Wasn't one for the highlight reel, perhaps?
Yeah, not really. I mean, technically, he put on a boxing lessons against Ramirez, but I don't think he wowed anybody. But yeah.
Could I ask, in 2 months, we have a guy who spent a very long time at 147, Terence Crawford, moving up to 168. I know you had the one fight at 154, but it feels like a 147-pounder versus a 168-pounder when he goes up against Canelo. How do you think he does against Canelo?
I think he does really, really well, actually.
You think he wins?
I think it's a fight, man. It's hard to say, but I think it's one of those fights, you could play, 50 times, and every 50 times, you can get something different, because both those dudes, Canelo and Crawford, they bring so much to the table, stylistically. I think, Canelo's at a point. Well, actually, both of them are at a point in their career where they have accomplished so much, from jumping weight classes, to challenging the best. And yeah, I think this is one of those fights you only get, once every century. And at first, a lot of people were talking about the size difference or the size advantage Canelo was gonna have, but it looks like Crawford has gone up in a very strong and healthy way. It's just going to be interesting to see the way that he handles the punch from Canelo on fight night. But I do give Crawford a really good chance. But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely I still have Canelo in that fight. I'm still leaning towards Canelo. But I wouldn't be surprised, if Crawford does, shock everybody.
2 more quick ones. Were you surprised that Rolly Romero beat Ryan Garcia? And it seems like he'll be made the official champ now that Boots Ennis is moving up. Are you interested in maybe him next if all goes well on Saturday?
Yeah, like I said, that goal still remains the same for me. Fight. Fight the best of my division, unify the other titles, with the other champions. But yeah, I mean, I thought when Rolly fought Ryan Garcia, I thought Ryan Garcia was going to have a little better performance. I thought it was going to be, a lot closer, but yeah, Rolly came out, and Rolly is also, he's somebody I've considered a friend for a very long time. And I am happy for him, but at the end of the day, we are in the same division, and if he gets elevated, to full champion, he is somebody I'm gonna have my eyes on also.
What's the official prediction? You versus Manny freaking Pacquiao on Saturday. How are you winning?
By any means necessary, whatever it takes to make sure my hand is raised at the end of the night. Whether it's outboxing him, whether it's I know if at any point I have him hurt, I'm not gonna hesitate to pull the trigger on him because I know that that old legend, he's in there, to still take what I have.
Looking forward to it. There it is. PBC pay-per-view this Saturday night, 8 p.m. Eastern on Amazon Prime. Manny Pacquiao, the returning Manny Pacquiao, 46 years young, against the champ Mario Barrios. Thank you, Mario. All the best to you, my man. Congratulations on this opportunity. Looking forward to seeing how you do on Saturday.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Mario Barrios, kind enough to join us, the WBC welterweight champion. And tomorrow on the show, we'll be joined by Manny Pacquiao. That is always a great privilege and honor as well. Thanks for watching this video. Before you go, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for us. Also, give us a thumbs up, leave a nice comment. These things go a long way. And while you're here, do check out the rest of the channel. We've got live shows and full interviews, clips, and a whole lot more. We're doing big things here, and we appreciate your support very much.